Welcome to GCSE Maths. In this video we're going to have a look at a common exam question which appears in the topic changing the subject. Now this video is aimed at students doing higher tier and it is one of the harder versions of changing the subject. This type of question will not appear in the foundation paper. Let's get on to the question. Let's make y the subject. H equals y plus 4 over y minus 3. So there's a few things that make this question quite hard. One of the things is it gives you a fraction where the subject appears on the top and the bottom. Now, when we've got a fraction, we want to get, if we've got the subject on the bottom of a fraction, we really want to get rid of that. Now, if we think about what a fraction is, it's the top divided by the bottom. So if we want to eliminate the bottom of a fraction, well, we need to do the opposite of division. So because the right hand side is divided by y minus 3, if we want to get rid of the y minus 3 on the right hand side, we need to multiply by it. So we'll multiply both sides by y minus 3. And what that'll give us is on the left hand side we'll get h. Now I always put it in brackets, and there's a really important thing which I'll go on to, reason why I do that. And on the right hand side I'm left with y plus 4 because this y minus 3 has cancelled out. Now the reason I put this in brackets is we're going to times it out, so we've got hy. Now what a mistake loads of people make is they don't multiply the minus 3 by the h. A lot of people will just times it, they'll go hy, and then they'll just write minus 3. And it's actually minus 3h. And I've done this a lot of time with students. I've shown them the method, I've highlighted that, they go to the question, and they still forget to multiply the minus 3 or whatever number is on there. Some people will do it fine, but I've just noticed that quite a lot of the time people do miss that even after you've told them, and that's why I like to write it in brackets. Just it adds one extra step, but it makes sure people get it right. Now what I've got now is I've got y on both sides of the equation, and if I want to make y the subject, I need to move all the y's to the same side of the equation, and I'm going to move everything else to the other. Now when I look at this question, what it'll be easiest to do is it'll be easiest to move the y's to the left hand side and everything else to the right hand side. And the reason I'm doing it that way around is it just keeps more things positive. If I do minus hy minus 4, then everything will be most things will be negative, and I'd rather keep it as positive as possible. So what I'll do is I'll add 3h because I'm going to move that to the right hand side. So what I'm left with on the left hand side is hy, and that's equal to 3h plus y plus 4. And what I'm going to do now is I need to move the y to the left hand side of the equation, so I'm going to subtract the y because that's the opposite of add, so that'll cancel this out. And on the left hand side I'll have hy minus y, and that's going to be equal to 3h add 4. Now that I've got the y's on the same side of the equation, I'll go to my next step. Now at the moment I can't take the y's away because one has got a h in front of it, and if there's a h in front of the y, I don't know what the value of that h is, so there's no way I can take away y from it because I've got one y, but I don't know how many other y's I've got depending on what that value of h is. And what you do in this situation is you need to factorise to get the y on its own. So what I do is I take y out of the brackets, I put some brackets in. Well, to make hy, I need to multiply y by h. And to make minus y, I need to multiply y by minus 1. So I've got y outside the brackets, h minus 1 inside the brackets equals 3h plus 4. Now I need to get rid of this h minus 1 on the left-hand side of the equation. And the way because it's in brackets and I've got a y in front of it, that means y multiplied by h minus 1. Well, the opposite of multiplication is division. Therefore, I'm going to divide both sides by h minus 1. And I'm going to have y equals, and if you remember at the start, when we were talking about the fraction, I said a fraction is just the top divided by the bottom. So if I'm divided by h minus 1, it's easiest just to leave my answer as a fraction. Therefore, I'll write 3h plus 4 all over h minus 1. And that is the answer to this type of exam question. And even if you don't get a fraction like this, there's many concepts that we've covered in this video that will be very useful to other the change in the subject questions or just general rearranging of equations. So thank you for watching. Hope you found that video useful. If you'd like to find some practice questions to help prepare you for exams, please visit www.mitchellmathsandscience.com.